Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Penalty Loop Podcast, a podcast about biathlon by Jordan Gottschalk from Penalty Loop and a regular guest, RJ Weiss from Biathlon Analytics.
RJ, how you doing, man?
I feel confused because we're pretty much halfway to season.
I know.
And,
I don't know what to do.
It's just one of those weird things where, on the one hand, it feels like it's been going on for a long time, and at the same time, like it started yesterday.
Yeah,
but
no, I agree.
But it's been good so far, and it was another awesome weekend. With I'm still another confusion. The whole schedule is a bit odd. I'm still looking for an answer to why was it a short individual, because I thought maybe part of the course is under preparation, but then they used it today and didn't see any reason why they couldn't have raced the individual. But
I wish I had the answer to it. I'm guessing it's just an experiment just to see. And I know they've got another one on the schedule for next year. I didn't hear that many athletes talking about it, except for a couple who mentioned that they didn't like it. So we'll see. It might be one of those lasts for a couple of years and then goes away type things.
Could be.
Did you have any thoughts about just watching it? Because I will say, for me, having the shorter laps, it just felt an individual can be pretty chaotic. Partially for me because you have athletes going, it's prone standing, and then the shorter laps, I felt like I was having a harder time keeping people.
Yeah, it made it feel. I didn't see the whole race live, but it made it a bit more as if it was a race against people.
Yeah,
like I find the individual it's so long that there's always just a small number of athletes out there really that are even close to each other. I don't know. It felt a bit more like a more race against each other rather than purely focusing on yourself. But
it's
maybe it's just a visual.
It's funny you mentioned that about how long an individual is. I have this distinct memory of one of the very first podcasts we ever did, and it was when we were doing the Olympics and we were recording after every race. And the individual races started like I think that was so early, quote unquote, that I don't know that you even went to bed because it was so, but it went on forever. It just kept going. And I just remember like, I just need this thing to end so we can record the podcast so I can go to work, right? I just like it was
Well, it's funny because I'm also one of those weird people that once I start reading a book, I want to finish it because it's, and I feel the same way with individual. Like if you have 20 more athletes from, with all due respect, Romania and clearly people that are not going to win, Moldova, I still want to wait until the last one comes across the line. Even though that person will never know, but still, it's I don't know.
I feel the same way too, and that's you start getting excited about somebody who's going to finish like in 49th place, but for them, 49th place is it's amazing, right? So you mentioned the schedule being so far down, and I was actually going to say this, but I find myself at the beginning of the season, I look ahead and there are certain stops I always look forward to, and Antholz being one of those. And it's kind of sad to me that we're already past it. And the reason I look forward to it, obviously all of the athletes love it, but it's just really pretty on TV. And we were robbed of that, the first couple of days with the less than.
So that was really weird because I've been really struggling with that new app.
Yeah.
Often my video won't even play and that kind of thing. But I also often click on a wrong button.
Yeah.
And then end up in the wrong race. And I seriously thought, I must have clicked on Oberhof or something. So I turned it off again. And then I clicked on Antholz, short individual. And it's like, I was still thinking, they must have mixed it up and forgot to, put the wrong link on whatever. But that was not the typical picture you think of when you think of Antholz.
No, and then they're announcing that they're delaying it because and I was like, what is happening? This is not. It's supposed to be sunny and and cool, but no, it was.
Well, and I also
kind of gross.
I didn't check the actual weekend stats, but the shooting was just horrendous. There were so many athletes that have good shooting percentages that were just awful.
Yeah, it was definitely rough. There was on the first couple of days, I think it was more breezy, but today it wasn't even that windy.
No,
but there were still some sort of obscene shooting performances that were up there, and I know that we can get into some of those in particular. But I agree, it was worse than I remember it being. But maybe I just having a faulty memory.
Right.
It's certainly weird coming off of Ruhpolding, where we have traditionally some really amazing shooting, and then So even normal feels rough, but I agree. It felt like there was a lot of red, a lot of misses.
Yeah, the only good part with that was that even today, you still felt like, well, it's happened a lot before that people shoot and miss 2 or 3, right? So but then didn't really happen. But
didn't really matter what the winners we had.
No.
So do you want to jump into it? Obviously, we talked about weather and shooting, but so tell me, what was your first big thing?
How do you say that? First time World Cup winners.
Yeah.
I was super happy for Haecki-Gross. I looked up a bit of her numbers. 88 races. No, sorry. 187 non-team races, 4 podiums, 10 top 5s, 112 top 30s. And finally, she got her win. And as you would expect, but man, she was so darn excited about it. And
she
all
was.
The Swiss people that you saw, coaches, techs, anywhere around the course, and even so many non-Swiss were just clearly very, very happy for her.
Yeah.
So that was awesome to see. And then Folk the next day, even though, it wasn't a non-team race, but still a first World Cup win, and pretty darn excited. I think you and I both had the hope/expectation that it would happen maybe a little sooner after she made the switch from the IBU Cup, but I hope there's many more to come. But those were definitely things that come to mind first.
And her partner in the relay was Strello's first win as well. Yep. So really nice to see that. Yeah, no, I think that Haecki-Gross, I think that was definitely an incredibly popular win across the entire biathlon family, right?
Yeah.
You could feel it, like the momentum building, and oftentimes, like, you have these athletes who they'll have the podiums, and then like Preutz this year, right? She had how many second place finishes earlier in the year, and it couldn't quite get over the line for the win. But it was, you could sort of feel that Haecki-Gross was getting closer and closer, and then to see her finally get the win was incredible. Yeah. But it was also,
this was the season to do it, right? How it was building up in the last couple of World Cups. She was fast, and shooting was going well, and you knew it just had to click one day. And
yes. Well, that was what I was going to say, is that the shooting was what impressed me, because we always know that she's fast. She's always been fast, but she won it in an individual.
You say that,
20.
Though.
Yeah.
But she was about -2 compared to the medium of the field.
Yeah.
And she was now, for this season, she's -3.5.
Okay. So not even up to her normal speed. Yeah.
Yeah. And she gained 2 seconds on her shooting times.
Ooh.
So that's,
well,
so everything
as we saw today with Simone, and I want to spend more time on her later, but you can do a lot of good with shooting times.
No kidding.
But so I was going to say Haecki-Gross up to 87%.
Yeah.
And her best before this year was 81%. That's a hefty improvement.
Yeah.
So do you think, I mean, I did my first dipped my toes into the research for a piece on the history of the Swiss women. I did the Swiss men last year. And she's definitely on her way to the best single season in Swiss women's history. Do you think that she can crack the top 5 by the time this is all over? She is 53 points back of Elvira. It might be tough.
I'm a bit worried that she may be able to hold this to the World Championships.
Yeah.
But I don't think she'll be able to continue. But I think she'll still be good. I just don't think she'll be right at the top.
Yeah.
And then, you would definitely assume that Elvira is going to improve from what she's doing now.
Yeah, you hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I agree. I think that this is probably where she settles out. Also, Jeanmonnot in 6th, ahead of her overall, is looking quite good right now too. But so this is something that shocked me. And every time I look at it, it surprises me. Do you know how old Lena Haecki-Gross is?
Is she just under 30?
She's 28.
Yeah, 28. Yeah.
And I feel like she's been around forever.
Well, almost 200 races, like, and that's non-team races.
Yeah.
I didn't write down the team events, but yeah, she's been around.
261 total.
Yeah.
Races. Yeah. This is her 10th season, and she is 28. So, it feels like she's been around for a long time, but she could still be, she could still, 6 years from now, right? We could still be watching her race and compete at a high level. So,
well, maybe it's just sort of the natural trend of, as women get a bit older.
Yeah. She's in the right age group to reach that peak level,
Yeah.
So,
and if she's smart, she would have a baby right now, and then she gets out even stronger. No, sorry. That sounds a bit bad, but I don't mean it that way. But if anything, it just I have a lot of respect for people not just having a baby, but then coming back and performing at the top level. So
yeah, my hope is that she waits until after the Olympics, if that's what she and her husband want to do. Did you know she's also leading the individual discipline globe at the moment by 2 points over Vitazzi? So that'll be
there you go.
Yeah, that could be a nice little.
That'd be cool. She can hold on to that globe.
Yeah, that'd be a nice way to finish the season.
Mm-hmm.
So I mentioned Julia Simone, and she was someone that I had mentioned. Was it just a couple of days ago? I said something on Twitter about how she's a little bit back in the overall race, but in most people, I would say probably not going to come back from the deficit that she had. But then she went second and first, and that's why you don't count out Julia Simone, because she is going to race every race like it is the last one she's ever going to run.
I felt, especially today, but also the other race, where the last shooting really felt like, okay, is this last year's Simone, or is this the Simone we know from the years prior? And she pulled it off. So kudos to her.
No kidding.
And, I'm really curious, and then probably another thing I never get a clear answer to, but how much this has to do with trying to peak for the World Championships.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, because she said, right, I don't remember if it was the short individual or last week in RuPauling, she said that, did you mention this? That Worlds was going to be her focus, not going after the overall? And
I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, so she is definitely looking to peak at Worlds.
Mm-hmm.
However, if she can maintain that peak to after Worlds, she is still in the running for the overall if she wants to. But she had a crazy weekend. Sure. Crazy weekend. In the short individual, she was second fastest behind Lampic by 1 second, and she was 26 seconds ahead of Tangivold, or 25 seconds ahead of Tangivold, who was the third fastest. And there were 12 women or 10 women, I think, that were within 25 seconds of Tangivold. So just to kind of give the perspective. And then
on the other side of the scale, Elvira, 1 minute 24 behind.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know. She doesn't. Well, hold that. I'm going to come back. I do want to come back to Elvira. But today, Simone, she beats Jeanmonnot, who is on good form. Jeanmonnot goes perfect 20 for 20, Simone 19 for 20. And so she makes up over a penalty loop in time, but she was only 2 seconds faster on the course. She made it up almost all the shooting time. She shot 22.5 seconds for her first prone, 24 seconds for the second, 16.9 for the first standing, and 18 seconds for the second standing shooting. Which
with
every single one of the that with one miss.
With one miss.
Yeah. Every single
I
one
looked
of
at
those
the same numbers, and I wrote down the comparison between Simone and Lou Jeanmonnot.
Yeah. Do you have it?
And I was confused because Lou Jeanmonnot was 1.4 seconds faster in course time.
Yeah.
But she lost almost 32 seconds in range time.
It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
It is a huge
and I mean, it
amount of
was
time.
pretty clear, right?
Yes.
But at the same time, I feel like good for Jeanmonnot to not get caught in, I need to shoot fast too, because she just seemed to do her own thing, and obviously she shot clear. So
race your own race.
Yeah,
it's good enough. That was crazy. There was one in particular where they came in together, and Simone had 3 shots gone before Jeanmonnot had her first. I was like, good gracious, that's just it was rapid, to put it mildly. So clearly,
which I found impressive by both.
Yeah,
that Simone did it, and that Jeanmonnot just completely blocked it out and just did her own thing.
How much of that do you think is that they're on the same team and Jeanmonnot is just used to seeing it every day in practice?
It's interesting where, so when I shoot, go to my practice, you hear the first shot of the night, and then after that, you don't really notice it, although you hear it. But there's so many shots being fired and stuff that, and that, I mean, might be my hearing going down, but I can't really, if you hear shots, you don't really necessarily know if it's 1 lane over or 2 lanes over. You'll hear it when it's 30 lanes over, but so I don't think that really makes a lot of impact. I think it's more the crowd. If you're saying Antholz and you're behind Fitozzi and she's just before you and you start, zeroing in, well, not zeroing in, but start focusing on your targets and you hear the, hey.
Yeah.
Right. So, but even that, they probably block that out as much as they can, but.
I would have a difficult time with it. Having somebody right next to me just firing that fast.
Well, imagine, Tandervold in lane 1 and you in lane 2. How would that make you feel when she's staring?
I would be very nervous, quite nervous, just staring at me.
Yeah. You'd be like, "Hey, how are you doing?"
I'd be intimidated for so many reasons. That's moving on.
A lot of thoughts, but
I would probably go 0 for 5 and.
Going back to the ski speed, I did want to mention that Baiba had the 11th course time.
Oh, way to go, Baiba!
She had a very up and down. I don't know if you saw all her numbers.
I did, yeah.
Her shooting obviously was not quite where she wanted it to be, with 12 misses on the short individual. Yeah. But then with the single mix, they got in 4th.
Mm-hmm.
Do I have that right?
5th, yeah.
Yeah, so, and then she shot 1 penalty loop, but then the second lap that she did, or second round, I guess, just 1 reload, so.
Yeah, she did great in that second leg. Yeah. Her second leg, 3rd total. Yeah.
Right. So that was great to see.
I was really happy for her. I can only imagine what it's like being a new mom, right? And I know what it's like being a new dad, and then you right, trying to focus on something like that, and being separated from your kid, and I don't know their whole travel situation, but so I'm really impressed that everything that she's been able to do. Can you imagine? I mean, she is what you said, 11th course time in the short individual.
Yeah,
that's just nuts. These moms, man, I don't know where they get the strength.
Superpower.
You're not kidding.
No, I just, for the other things about short individual, like we talked about this last year a lot, but when JT Boe is clean, there's just no way, right?
Yeah, what are you going to do? And did you notice, like, he definitely shot much slower in the short individual? I don't know if you were paying attention to it, but I remember watching it, and he just looked more deliberate. And I don't know how much of that was just the fog or how much of it was, hey, I know I'm...
in other races, it costs him 22 seconds, where now it costs him a minute, right?
Yeah, it's just very deliberate, right? It's like, I don't want to mess this up.
It's okay
didn't matter as much
to lose 5 seconds per shooting, because otherwise would be a whole minute. So
Yeah, and what, he was one of two guys to go 20 for 20, and I think there were like 10 or 11 that even went, that had one miss or less. So,
Right.
Definitely gave him a monumental advantage, and not that he really needed it, because he was skiing just fine. But yeah. So speaking of JT, did you see him today? Did you? I don't know how close you were watching. Did you see what happened on the first lap?
Yeah, he tripped.
Yeah, he tripped. Did he trip? Was that over Laegreid's pole?
From what it looked like to me, is that he tripped on his own pole.
Okay,
because when you plant your ski, and your pole, it happens sometimes, and it could be that somebody else just, two poles collide and it just swings your pole a little bit to the inside of your ski.
Yeah,
it's. So, I think he was very lucky to do it where he did it. Yeah, and not on just before a downhill, right? Because
where it can really get away from you. Yeah. But two things I thought were interesting. Which one, he fell, which I guess you don't see all the time, but I guess we've seen it twice in 2 years. One was ice assisted. Yeah. And but also what was Laegreid doing going to the front there?
I think he's kind of lost.
Yeah. It was weird
because he doesn't know what to do anymore.
It was the very first lap. Nobody was really like crushing the pace, and he just like it looked like a really like, I'm going to go out there and make a move. And
maybe he was. Did he ski next to Jacqueline before that?
Jacqueline said, "Hey, this is what I would do.
I am caught up. Can you go?"
It made me. And this is total overreacting, right? This is probably totally overreacting, but seeing him do that, which was really out of character, made me nervous for where he is, like the state of his.
I wanna save that
performance
for.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll come back to it. So then it was really weird. The first lap of a mass start, seeing JT Boe like way in the back of the pack.
Where is he?
Yeah. I was like, what happened?
First shooters were coming out.
Yeah,
already
he's skiing on.
Yeah,
and he ended up 50 seconds back after the first shooting because he had two misses in there. Didn't matter, still fun.
Yeah, I could.
Right, he was. Well, I think.
And how close was he to catching up with QFM still?
I don't know. I didn't even write that down. Was it?
I don't know the number, but he came into the final. JT Boe came into the final stretch when QFM had not finished yet.
Yeah, 3 seconds.
Yeah. And I don't know, but I mean, Dale was already 42 seconds behind, and JT Boe must have been quite a bit more than that.
Yeah. But I think JT Boe was fastest on the course by 26 seconds today, just pretty wild. Especially when you consider what Dale did at the end.
That moment that I have rewatched.
Yeah,
about a minute, I guess, of the race where you see Dale coming closer, and then there's a section where they just glide, and it's almost like Dale is going twice as fast, and then they get to that sort of that weird turn. That's kind of a 90-degree turn almost, where he takes QFM on the inside.
Yeah.
And by that point, QFM was very aware that he was coming, and he still seemed shocked that, he wants to start a turn, and all of a sudden there's Dale on the inside.
Yeah.
And gone, right?
It was like, honestly, it looked like Dale was racing a junior, right? It just looked like it was like such a difference in speed. It was alarming.
Yeah. But, and when he started his sort of final push up that hill, there's also that those boards that they have the BMW drive up the hill kind of thing.
Yeah.
And the BMW was almost like falling behind Dale. It was, oh man, that gave me goosebumps just watching him.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I always feel that TV doesn't do justice to how steep these hills are.
Yeah.
And to do that at the end of a race and just have a burst of speed like that, and not just for 10 meters, like that's a long stretch on a hill burst, that's pretty nasty.
Yeah. And it was something about the way he was doing it too. It looked like he was possessed, right? It was just like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? It was like, it was like he just had somehow ramped his body into 110% of his normal ability. Like he's already very fast, but it was like he was just moving in some sort of super speed. But he didn't look like he was frantic or anything.
But I found interesting, he didn't look like he was trying to get away from Surum.
No.
He was trying to get closer to QFM.
Yeah.
Right?
Surum was just sort of there. He just happened to be on the course, right? It was just...
Well, I mean, also hats off to,
yeah,
you know, to
sort of coming off the bench.
Follow him right behind him, but...
Yeah. But...
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just... Yeah, Surum was a sort of a bystander on the way to right. That was not the goal. The goal was not to catch him. He exited the range with the goal of I'm going to get second. It's crazy. Oh man,
I wonder if he still has first place in his mind, but who knows?
Yeah, that's a good.
I think he knew Christiansen enough to know that wasn't going to happen.
What was the final gap? I know Christiansen was definitely cruising at the end. Like he was not. It was 10 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Speaking of Christiansen, I think he has made his statement about Worlds quite clear.
I would say so.
Yeah. 2 wins.
Well, let's maybe get into it right away. I jokingly sent you a message saying first Sturla Laegreid shoots in the hotel wall and now shoots himself in the foot because I've been looking at some numbers. In the standings, he is the last. No, not the last. 6th in the World Cup, but also the 6th Norwegian. But then I looked at the average point per race, and he is 5th there. But Stromsheim is so Laegreid has 42.2 points per race. Stromsheim 39.2 and Surum 37.6, and most of the points for Laegreid, if you would put it sort of in a trend line, you could see that it's going down.
It's going down, yeah, for sure.
Like, can they bring 7? Because they won a lot of races last year, and then I think the winner is always guaranteed a spot, isn't it?
I think they can bring a ton. I can't remember what the number is, but they can bring a ton. They get 4 plus the winner of the World Championship from last year. Right, so they can. I think they can start 5 because JT Boe he won 3 of the races last year. So
they'll bring him regardless. But I don't know if we'll get many spots if they only have 4.
Yeah,
or 5.
And we can. I was going to have. This is a question I had for you later. I was going to ask you who would you put on your Norwegian relay team? Don't know that he would be on. Don't know that I would. I think I would go with Christiansen, Dale, Tarja, and JT Boe. I think I would go with those 4. And because the way that Dale is going right now, like even if he misses, he can just throw in some just insane final lap, right?
You can put Stronsheim or Surum in there too. I don't think they'd be much weaker.
No, exactly. Yeah. But I think
it's interesting, right? Do you put if you would, let's say you would put Surum on there, do you put him first? So if
you get 3 guys or
tension get to him,
to
him, then you still have 3 guys, or do you put him last because they'll probably have 2 minutes advantage?
Or do you put him second, so you just sort of hide him in the middle there?
Yeah. But
either way, you finish up.
I don't think Laegreid would be part of it. Let's put it that way.
No, I don't think so either. I think you go. I think regardless, you close with JT Boe and Christiansen, put Tarja wherever you want, first or second, and then. Draw a name out of a hat for the 4th one. I think you're going to be fine between Dale, Surum, and Stromsheim, but I probably would go Dale if I had to choose right now, though.
Yeah, although you could argue, Christiansen didn't have to ski very fast because it was so far ahead.
That's true. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's anyway, that's a good problem to have if you're Ziggy Mazet. But anyway, going back to Sturla, I don't know if they can start 5 for the individual race. I guess you could run them there.
Yeah.
I don't know. Right? Because your choices are the sprint or the individual. And I don't know. It's an excellent question.
The hard part too is like, obviously we don't know if there's any sickness involved or.
Yeah.
But now it makes me think like maybe he should have done the same as Christiansen did. Just take a weekend off.
Yeah.
Sort of
I agree.
Reset and
worked for Christiansen, having that full extra week.
No kidding.
Skipping Oberhof and coming back. He's gone.
But again,
first,
now
second,
they
sixth,
all
first.
have 2 weeks.
Gracious.
You know?
Yeah.
For people in like Dala, who's in top shape, maybe he's frustrated because he's like, no, let's have him tomorrow.
Yeah.
Where Laegreid is like, okay, that gives me 2 weeks to.
Yeah, he's saying, thank God, right? I get this
everybody.
time to catch up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, I guess the scary part too for everybody is that we haven't talked about him as much as we did last year, but JT Boe is still. It feels like he's building and getting stronger.
Yeah,
give him 2 more weeks. Like, what if he just shows up and is like, "Hey guys, I'm back," and
I could not believe how many times I thought this race today, the mass start, where I was like, okay, JT Boe, he must be done now. And bloop, there he was. And Justine Bréjat-Boucher was exactly the same.
Yep. Yeah.
I kept thinking she was out, and I didn't necessarily think that she would win, but she was there again in the range, coming in like 5th or 6th. And it was...
there's something, you can be a good shooter, and you can make up a lot of time like we talked about with Simone, but you can't you can't make up that kind of speed.
No.
JT Boe had 4 misses, and he finished in 5th today. It's just nuts because the guys ahead of him had 1 miss, 2 miss, 1 miss, 0. His brother had 1 who's right behind him. So
yeah, I felt bad for Tarja because
his brother just cruised by him on the last lap.
No, because he had
him on the
an issue with his rifle.
Oh yeah,
in the first shooting.
At the first shooting, yeah.
So that put him back about 25 seconds. And then I was hoping he would shoot clear after that, but he missed
that one last
first
miss.
shot of the last shooting. Yeah. Because otherwise he would be in for the podium, right?
He would have been in for the podium. Yeah, for sure. What happened with the rifle? Do you know?
It seemed like something was blocking the front sight.
Yeah.
So the thing at the end of the barrel. And I don't know. I wonder if something blew in it or something like that, because it seemed like he couldn't just easily get it out. So I don't know exactly, but
yeah, I have this great screenshot of Laegreid last year looking like he was about to smoke a pipe with his rifle. Like blowing blowing something off the top, and surprised that that's what I would have expected him to do, but I guess I don't know.
The fact that he hit 19 out of 20, it didn't seem like any mechanical issue or whatever. Okay. But I think his barrel was stuck tightly. Right.
Man, the year of Norway. I was going to talk more about her earlier, and I forgot. I apologize. But Lou Jeanmonnot, we talked about her a little bit. Mm-hmm. She had those 2 wins in Östersund, right? She looked a little bit off in Hochfjelsen. She missed a couple races in Lindsrheide. And then she has been this trimester working herself back. And so I was interested just watching, because I felt like she's getting stronger and stronger. You can see that in her finishes. She went 9th, 5th, 4th, 4th, 3rd, 2nd. So just a nice steady progression. Her course times over those races were 18, 11, 10th, 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 4th. She shot 96% for those races, and 4 of her 5 fastest shooting days, like average shooting times for the season, were in those 6 races as well. So, for somebody who I think somehow still went a little bit under the radar in the second trimester, she's looking really good.
Well, I think the tendency was there to write her off for the Globe when she got sick after Östersund.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And like you said, then Hochfjelsen was not great, and then missed a couple of races and that kind of thing. So, to me, she's proving she's the real deal this year.
Is she ever? And she is now 129 points back. So probably maybe, I don't know, maybe a little bit too far, but that is one heck of a trajectory she's on. So,
well, if she keeps following the trend with the World Championships coming up, I mean,
that's a lot of globes or a lot of medals.
Yeah.
Yeah. She has to be on the favorite list for some of these races coming up, right?
Yeah. Like I said, her cool at the shooting today.
Yeah. Yep.
Knowing that you're up against Simone, who is going to outshoot you time-wise, right?
Yeah.
And that she didn't get tricked into trying to do the same thing. She just did her own thing. And
yeah, she ran her own race, which is an amazing thing to do. She is, 25 years old? So, and she looked like she'd been around for a lot longer than that. So, yeah, it really impressed me. And I've been a fan of hers for a while, but I will say that I became a true believer, right, this season. We're watching her come along like this. So, and yeah, like you said, right, there was some question, was it a sort of a flash in the pan, and to start the season, but no, I think we can officially put that to bed.
Well, and I think too, like if you compare it to some other French girls coming up, Richard, Chauveau, they've had some really good results, but they've also had some really, really bad ones. And that's, I think I mentioned that before, but Lou Jeanmonnot, she's, even her bad races are still good.
Yep. Yeah. I'm never going to say I expect someone to win an overall globe, because I think it's just, you need a lot to go right health-wise and everything. But it would not surprise me at all to see her win one or two before she's done. She's just so good. Buddy stand out in the single mixed relay for you?
Single mixed.
Yeah. A certain duo.
Hauser Ader.
Yes.
Yeah, Hauser Ader for sure. Yeah, I was very happy for them. It's funny because when I see Hauser with Ader, it makes her look older. Like, not older as in her presence, but she's more veteran, knowing how many of those races she has already done with Ader.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they just, I don't know, they just seem like a happy couple, even though, they're not
of course,
together. But,
I saw that
they go back a long way. And I don't know, just, I was super happy to see that. It was awesome. And I mean, it was an awesome podium in general with Vogt winning her first race and Strello. And, it was just cool to see. And
so this is the 11th
not talk about
season.
Jacqueline anymore, but
I was going to say this is their 11th season together racing on the World Cup, and Hauser and Ader, I believe, have the record for most single mixed relay podiums now with 11.
It wouldn't surprise me. Yeah,
averaging.
And that doesn't include the Schalke.
Nope.
Schalke races, right?
Yeah, they've been doing that forever. So I really happy to see that. Also, Hauser, she scored her first points in forever in group holding, and she scored a few more in the individual. So, it has not been the way the season that she really wanted it to go, of course, but hopefully she can end it on a high note. Again,
maybe
never
the
know.
duo can work towards the World Championships.
Get a medal. All I was going to say is we never know how many more times we're going to see Ader on any podium, right?
Yeah.
So it's just great to see him up there.
It's just in the middle of his career.
Yeah. I forgot. Yeah, he's got.
Which makes me think of Hofer, because of course he's been around and has been mentioned with other people retiring.
Yeah.
Did you see his finish today?
No, what happened?
When he came in together with Sebby Samuelson.
No,
and they were sprinting for the line, and then they were kind of in each other's way to break, because there's like 20 athletes that are already done standing there.
Yeah,
and I didn't see the whole thing, but it looked like Hofer almost fell, then avoided somebody, but he must have crashed into the boards, and you could hear the crowd go like, "Hey, whoa!" You should look it back, watch it back. It's a. I don't know how it ended. Everybody seemed pretty relaxed, so I'm guessing nothing bad happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was. You could just see like the camera swerving away, and then you see Hofer in the bottom left of the screen, just swerving around people. Kind of funny.
Man.
But
well, especially they must have really been seeing an Italian man do that. They must have been really.
Oh yeah,
really nervous. Don't hurt yourself, man. Yeah. Did he? I didn't take note of him in the individual or the mass start, obviously, because I missed that. But he did okay in the single mixed. He was with Rebecca Passler, and he was fine.
He did really good.
Yeah,
because Passler started with penalty loop, right?
Yeah, and Hofer really dragged him back. Yeah,
and I don't have the numbers right in front of me, but he had the third fastest ski in the single individual. 8 misses
did he really?
Didn't help, but
no.
Or sorry, yes. Did I say what? A short individual.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So he had the third time, but then 8 misses. I think his skiing actually was pretty decent. He was fast in the single mixed, and then maybe today he was not as fast, I believe. But
he's looking okay.
Well, I mean, last year I seriously thought, I don't even know. It started so weird. He was going to train with the Swedes, and then he pretty much missed all season.
Yeah, I think he raced a couple races at Worlds, and that was it.
Yeah, and then he seems to be pretty good shape.
Yeah. Speaking of his whole team, right? The whole Italian team, they are doing really well right now, right?
I don't think that Giacomo would agree with you after today's, but
well, fine.
When he takes a few days to review where he is at.
Yeah, I was just going to say,
you're right.
Right, the mixed relay team got second. They've got a couple of the men who've gotten second a couple of times. Vitozzi's doing awesome. Giacomo obviously is, most of the time he's been doing very well. So I feel like and that's with, what did they call her on the broadcast? Dorothy Veer. I think anyway, those guys. She hasn't been around at all. Just finally made it back.
But she was solid in the relay.
She was, yeah. No misses at all, right? Just a solid straight 10 for 10. And right, and Biona looked really well, looked really good on his leg. So kudos to them. I'm not going to say I didn't see it coming, right? I'm not stunned, but it's fun to see it, because you sort of get used to seeing, it's Norway and it's Germany and it's France, and then it's nice to have Italy kind of mixing things up.
Well, what I like is, obviously with the Olympics coming up, I don't know if Hofer and Veer will make that, but I had a bit of concern. Oh, no, they have the Olympics in their own country, and then, your best athletes are possibly retiring before that, and who have they behind that? But I mean, so far, it's not. They're not in a major pickle.
No, I think they're going to be fine. Right, I think they'll be just fine with Vitozzi and Giacomo, and they'll have a few more that come up. Did you see Michaela Carrara? I'm probably butchering that name, but she's been on the IBU Cup mostly, and has been just wildly fast. And she raced the short individual, and she, I think, had the 5th fastest time on the day, which was yeah,
decent,
not bad. Eh? Was that
decent?
yeah, I'll take it.
Yeah. Do you think it just seems like a lot of people coming in from the IBU are super fast?
Yeah, right.
I just wonder if there's a bit of a trend in biathlon in general to focus on the skiing, to not fall behind.
Yeah.
And the idea that, you have to be fast to make it, to have a chance. Like just being a good shooter is not going to cut it anymore. Yeah.
Yeah. I was going to joke and say, like, you can't be Ader, but even Ader in his heyday was decently fast, right? He wasn't.
Well, and he's still, I looked quickly at his shooting stats. He's still in the top 5 at least, but usually in the top 3 with shooting times.
Yeah. And as we talked about with Simone, you can do a lot of damage there. So,
yeah. But in the short individual, he was behind Adam Runnalls. who had a great result, 17th and fastest shooter. Christian Gau, 37th, and Logan Platz, 87th. But women came in, Benita Pfeiffer, 39th, Moser, 50, Lunder, 52. In the single mixed, Platz and Lunder were 13th. Unfortunately, in the mixed relay, they got lapped. Did you realize that of the 23 teams,
yes,
only the first 12 made it, and 13 to 23 all got lapped?
There were a lot of teams that were lapped.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you do about that. It was just a lot of teams getting lapped.
Well, and the mixed relay was just one of those typical, after the first lap, you're like, okay, Norway's got this.
Yeah.
And of course, when they do a solid, fast race in fast conditions, they're going to lap a lot of people.
Yeah.
But, it's
and you feel bad because, it was Jacquemelle and JT Boe in the final leg, so it wasn't even like he could sort of calm down and not, like, he still had to race hard, right? It wasn't like they had like a 3-minute lead, you know what I mean? And she could just sort of cruise around in the last lap, but he still had to go. Anyway, I just feel bad.
Do you think in the Oberg household, including some other people in the team, that there's some sickness going around?
Something's happening. Elvira, for whatever reason, I think just hates Antholz. I think she just is really not good there. I had
bad for her.
Was that?
Too bad for her, because it's always on the World Cup. But
I know. Yeah.
Like today's shooting or ski times. It was just shocking.
Really bad. So she, in her career, has raced 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times in Antholz, and she has 3 top 10s, which I think has to be her worst. But yeah, no, they were really slow, right?
Yeah,
for themselves, relative.
Like Elvira on the, was it short individual? 124 behind Lampage.
That's decent, right? And that's not just Lampage too, because Simone was right there. So that's,
because Elvira is usually behind Lampage, but maybe 10 seconds, if not less,
15 at most. Yeah, but that puts her a minute and 23 behind Simone, which is not good. Did they both sit out the relay?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah,
that must have been a while that there was no Oberg on a relay.
Yeah.
So there must be, and then I think Samuelson didn't look like he had some good races, but then he also had some really bad ones. His shooting wasn't too bad actually on the. He did single mixed?
Yeah, he was pretty good, but otherwise he was a total non-factor.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate because he was really, you know what? Fool me once, shame on me. Fool me 7 times or whatever it's been now. But I just feel like this is the same story with Samuelson every year. Is that I get really excited after the first 2 weeks, and then
but this year feels there was something health related, just not. Yeah. And I don't know, maybe it's wax too. Because none of I shouldn't say none, because Jesper Nellen had probably one of his best weekends.
Yeah, he did. That was really fantastic, yeah.
But I don't know, maybe it's a different brand of skis. But Sweden is not looking all too happy right now.
No. The men, right, I still think that Ponsalom and Samuelson, they've got the talent to, even if not challenging the top Norwegians, they should still be in the mix there for that 5th, 6th, 7th spot, right? But I guess Samuelson
they actually are regularly, but you don't really notice them because they're not really, in it until the last moment, or
or they're there, but they weren't actually in contention. They just sort of were. Yeah. They just happened to end up there, but
I think Riedmüller, the German,
Yeah.
I can't say I know him, but I'm assuming he's a younger guy from the IBU Cup. But
that's exactly it. So
seventh in the short individual.
Yeah.
Was it his first race at the World Cup?
First race ever. Yeah. So he's been running really well on the IBU Cup for a little while now, and
how much value do you think teams put on the IBU Cup?
I have no idea.
It's great to offer them a position on the World Cup, but
yeah,
if you're doing really well there, you're kind of
right.
Reducing your chance of winning that.
Yeah, so I don't know. He was the top non-Norwegian on the IBU Cup, which I guess is sort of like being the top non-Norwegian on the World Cup, right? So you know that they're going to be those guys in the very top. But he was running really, really well. So I'm glad that he got his opportunity. And frankly, like with the German men, I think that they've had a number of really good races from a lot of different people, but I think that there's probably always going to be an opening for somebody who's performing well, whether it's Philip Horn or Riethmuller to move up to sort of
make
like
their
case.
Said, like Dole's been winning, Naurath has been winning, and then today Naurath had 6 misses.
Yeah. So he's still going to be there.
I think he was third fastest skier, if I remember correctly. But
yeah.
So you're right. I think there's always going to be the chance of getting a spot.
Yeah, I think there should be anyway. I don't think nobody. I guess Dole, I guess you could say, but whatever. I just think that there are not 5 or 6 guys who have locked down a spot on the World Cup at all times, right? So there should always be an opening.
Probably should mention Invenius.
Yes,
Otto.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah.
11th and 10th, is that right?
Yes, his very first career top 10.
Awesome.
So he's on a nice little run here. The last few races, 21st, 18th, 11th, and 10th, and before that he had just one career top 20, and so now he's had 3 more in the last 3 races. Way to go!
That must be good feeling going into the World Championships too.
For sure, and he's only 23. Hey, he's a young guy. So happy to see that. Did you see obviously Haecki-Gross for the Swiss team, but also Amy Becerga had a nice race today. So she finished.
No, I missed that, but
she finished 10th, and that is a new career best for her. She now has, I think, 3 top 12s this season.
Nice.
And 12th, by the way, the reason I mentioned that is because 12 was her career best before the year. So she's finished. Yeah.
Another person who broke his personal best was George Buta.
Oh, I didn't see this.
Yeah, from is he from Romania? I believe.
Way to go, George. Where did he finish?
He shot clean in the short individual and came in 22nd.
Nice.
And prior to that, his best was 23rd in Oberhof World Championships last year, and then some rankings in the 30s before that.
Well, I see. The only one I saw actually was Ranta, who finished right behind him in 23rd, and that was his career best. Prior to that, it was 36th.
That's cool.
Yeah, we're doing pretty well with these. It's fun to see like these guys. I almost get like when we talked about watching the individual watching till the end. Like this is why you do it, right? It's for these guys.
Oh, totally.
Right? Who they get these career best finishes, and it's only, and I'm doing air quotes, only 23rd, but hey, that's it's a huge improvement.
I'll go for that.
Yeah, right. Oh, speaking of. I meant to mention her earlier, and now is a good time actually. Idalene made her return to the World Cup. So she starts the year not even on the IBU Cup, goes to the IBU Cup, performs well enough. There's an opening. They send her up, and she gets 9th place in the short individual. Mass start didn't go as well, but
she was fast.
Yeah, really, really good to see. She comes up and really makes a statement. So good for her.
I also wanted to mention Sledemark, who has not had top results, but her shooting has actually been quite good. She started with 75% the first race of the season, but after that she shot clean in the 3 races since then. So,
wow, did she really?
Yep,
I missed it.
Yep, she. What did she come in?
45th.
Yeah,
she came. So 45th, right? Justine Brazé-Boucher was in 42nd, so that's good company. But much ballyhooed rookie Jean Richard was in 44th. Deidre Irwin 46th. Lotte Lee 47th. So that's good company to keep around you.
Yeah, and her this season rankings are 95, 85, 66, 45. So World Championships is top 30 is possible.
Top 30 is definitely possible. I'm feeling it. We talked to Tobias Torgerson a couple weeks back, and one of his young women did really well. Natalia Sidorovic was 22nd in the short individual, which earned her a bib in the mass start. It's pretty cool.
That must be even the more rewarding than being 22nd. Obviously, is that her best result?
Yeah. Yep.
But then being able to start the mass start.
Yeah, I mean, be able to line up and be like, hey, I'm in this group, and I think she was like 29th, but he said afterward, I asked him afterward how she was feeling and disappointed with the overall result, but really happy with the way she handled the pressure, and definitely had some tired legs after some hard racing. So
yeah,
great experience, and we will hopefully see her there again.
Because was that her
very first, yeah.
Mass start? Yeah, so not a bad place to do it.
2 names that I've mentioned several times already this year, but Noten and Arne Clive continue just to have some good races. So right, Noten goes 10th in the, or was it 6th in the short individual? I don't think she ran the mass start, did she?
Not sure.
I didn't see a result for her, and I wasn't specifically looking.
Right.
And then Arne Clive.
But also on the relay, just solid again, right?
Oh, yeah. Steady. Super
reliable.
Steady.
And then on the other end of the scale, Skogan didn't have a very good weekend. I think she had six misses.
Oh, Noten was in 5th on the mass start. I'm a dunderhead.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's also one of those athletes, right? Yeah. It just kind of sneaks in there.
Yep. So that is her. Whoa. How many is this now? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 top 10s this season. 8, 10. Wow. 11. Oh, good gracious. That's you. So not bad at all.
No.
Yeah.
One athlete I can just not wrap my head around is Marketa Davidova.
Yeah.
She started not great, then started to get better. You felt like it was maybe the old Davidova again. And then, she had 100% in the pursuit and group holding. And then this weekend, 75.
I know. I was really thinking after we saw in group holding, I was like, here we go. This is it. She's got it. Like we're moving. And
clearly she's just building towards the World Championship.
Yes, exactly. I was like, this has been the plan. Everything's going to come together for Nove Mesto. Nope. Yeah. So I guess it still can happen, but
yeah, and her skiing is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Last 3 races she was 4th, 8th, and 15th ski rank. But yeah, with 75%, 70%, you're not going to do all too well. I don't know. Yeah. Did she race on one of the relays?
I'm sure she did. I was not paying attention to her performance. So
they got in 6th, and she shot 83%.
Okay.
So and 5th ski rank. So
yes.
Pretty good.
So
there.
she was solid, right? And then Maracek had them decently high on his first leg, and then he had a penalty loop on his second leg or second shooting, and that was sort of it for their ability to compete for the podium. But
yeah.
Before we go,
Yes.
What were you going to say?
No, did you hear that Hartwig wasn't there, right?
He was not there. Sick again. Yep.
Sick again. Poor guy.
So he chatted with him very briefly, and after Ruhpolding, and he was really excited about how he was feeling. And then the very next day, he sent a message and said, "Oh, just kidding, just sick." So yeah. So I just feel bad. You know, this is like it's almost like, what biathlon god did he annoy, last year that gave him the boost for Oslo to win the U25 Globe, and now he's paying for it.
Yeah, and I think you mentioned it earlier in the season. It seems almost like this season is most influenced by Corona.
Right?
Assuming that it's mostly Corona.
It just seems like everybody, not everybody, but like every weekend has seen somebody big out of the race.
Yeah, or when they're in the race, they're like, look at the Öbergs.
You're right. Yeah,
I cannot imagine that they're just in bad shape. Like there must be more to especially Elvira to be that far behind.
Yeah, that'd be really bad shape.
Yeah. So, and I actually did not check into that, but Preutz is also not. I don't think she missed many races.
She missed 2, I think.
Okay.
Yeah.
But she's kind of out of the...
She's definitely... Yeah, well, this is what I was going to ask, right? So, overall picture. So, for the women, Tangervold held on to her yellow bib, mostly because Justine Breize-Boucher and Lisa Vitazzi, neither of them were able to have really spectacular weekends. Because Tangervold, I think, went like 12th and 19th. So, it's not like she racked up a ton of points, but neither did anybody else. She has a 20-point lead on Justine. She is up by, I can do some math here, 40-ish, 48 points on Vitazzi and 57 on Simone. Then it drops down to 117 points to Elvira, and Jeanmonnot is another 12 points behind her. So who is your favorite out of that group?
For the Globe?
Yeah.
Simone is the one that I think of.
Right?
I really hope that Tangervold can hold on. Breize-Boucher is a tough one because obviously she was so strong 2 weekends ago. And then after that, it's been kind of the shooting letting her down.
Yep.
Vitozzi might sneak in there. And I have to go back to what I just said about Preutz. Because she, she may be falling off our radar, but her results this whole season, 2-4-2. Then she missed one race, 7-4-7, 2-7-9-6-8. And the last 3 races, so Ruhpolding and the short individual, prone was 100%, standing 80, I would say, on average. So still a pretty solid. I mean, she didn't shoot 100% from before that, but pretty strong.
That's incredible.
Season,
That's just such remarkable. I'm looking it up right now. Average rank. Preutz is still the leader in average rank. Her average finish is 5.3. Yeah. Vitozzi 6.4, Tangervold 6.9, Jeanmonnot 7.9, Simone 8.2.
Yeah.
Justine Breize-Boucher, her average finish is 10.5, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9th. And that's when you get 4 wins, it's going to boost your score a lot.
Yeah, no kidding. And one
I
other.
was going to say, I think she might have just peaked a little bit early. Her peak was spectacular, but I don't know if it's going to last.
Yeah, but if her non-peaks are all top 10s,
this is yeah. And you're going to hang around. Yeah, it's going to be fun. This is a lot of women who have a really good chance at this.
I'm just excited that we're halfway through the season, and there is no way that somebody is not going to the States and Canmore because they're already secured.
Everybody's got to be there, right? Everybody's going to be there. Yeah. And
it's not to say that everybody will be coming, but
well, yeah, but I think if you have a chance at winning the Globe or one of the discipline Globes, you got to go. And I think once you get to Soldier Hollow, you might as well come to Canmore because you're already all the way over here. Mm-hmm. So it's I mean, all those women are going to be there, and that's going to be great, and it just makes me very happy. And my hope is that Tangivold wins the overall by 1 point.
And then, that'd be great.
Yep, she wins by 1 point.
In a sprint finish with?
Sprint finish, it doesn't matter to me, right? And then we're going to get so I would say, I think it would be fun to do it over Simone because Simone is the reigning champion, and if you can beat Simone in a sprint finish, man, you really had to earn it.
Yeah, fair enough.
But I don't get me wrong. I would be thrilled if Atazzi was up there or Bryce Boucher was up there. Simone is a hell of an athlete. I think that she and I have sort of conflicting personalities, but I respect her tremendously.
Would be so interested to have a. Oh, sorry. I need to be careful what I'm saying because this could be explained very wrong. To have a microphone at the team meeting of the French women.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Just to
not that I would understand it, but
just to see
assuming
how
that I could understand. I just like even today with Simone seemed pretty excited for Jeanmonnot, and I don't know if Jeanmonnot was just kind of disappointed that she felt like she could have won, but she seemed pretty cold.
Yeah, or she just tired, but. This is total body language.
There's always some. They're just it's never just smooth and
total body language watching from thousands of miles away. But Jeanmonnot seemed more excited to talk to Haecki-Gross after the race than Simone. So, and that's sitting on my couch, and I'm not trying to stir the pot. But
then again, it's like if this whole credit card thing wouldn't have happened,
sure,
and today would have gone out exactly the same. Would be like, oh well, she's just super happy for Haecki-Gross because she won her first, and it seemed like Haecki-Gross is a pretty likable character. Simone was hugging her right away. I don't know.
Yeah, I think
maybe we wouldn't look into it so much.
Probably a little bit of a lone wolf too. I mean, she's a pretty intense person. I think a lot of intense people can be like that.
Yeah, it's a bit of like Foucault.
Yeah.
Very, very easy to respect.
Yeah.
Nothing against the guy, but maybe not the most likable person.
Sure. Yeah. Harder to love. Easy to respect, harder to love.
Yeah.
But no, and I don't want anyone to take this wrong. Like I think Julia Simone, like as a pure athlete, I respect the hell out of her. And I just watching what she can do with some of the like the aggression that she has on the courses, and I mean aggression in a really good way. It's just sort of stunning to watch.
Well, she puts it in people's faces, right?
Yeah.
Here, I'm going to do this. You beat me.
Yeah, and that's great. Good for her. Like she is super confident, and that's like there's every single time.
But she's not arrogant. I don't find her arrogant.
No.
But she just seems to be a bit of a loner personality. Yeah. Even the interviews, she's nice and she's open, but it's not a.
Well, and I will say this for her, like my boo Tangivold, right, loves her, so that must mean something. I don't know, but I just Tangivold is just one of those.
Anybody who Tangivold does not love.
That's true. There probably is somebody, but I don't know who it is.
Yeah.
Me. It's probably me. I'll be the first person. She'll look at me like, "Oh my gosh, get him away from me."
You think she'll sit out camera?
I don't know who that guy is. Right. He's got to stop following me. Yeah. All right. But
I wanted to mention Lampage again because I've mentioned her a lot before, and I always feel bad because in my head she's like, well, she's not even that good.
Yeah.
But you see her today on the mass start, and you're like, oh, why is that? And she's actually 17th in the World Cup standings.
I know she is.
So that is quite amazing. And then you look at her ski ranks in the last 5 races, 1-1, 1-1-1. back from top 30 median, minus 4.5, minus 3.2.
Yeah.
Like, those are not small margins. And yes, her shooting is bad, but it's not bad enough to put her out of contention completely.
No. I saw her, I literally before we started recording, I saw her in 17th and I was like, whoa, that's not bad. Like,
and her prone is starting to improve to, it's not going to be 100% anytime soon, but she's also the last 4 races, she was 80% in prone. Her standing has been 60% with 2 races, 70%. And then 50% before that. So that's definitely something that she, but that's the thing, like, she has a lot to improve, but she can improve a lot because, obviously if she can find a combination of shooting better while still keeping the speed.
Sure. She doesn't have to be great. Like, if she can hit like 75 to 80%, right? Because now she's hitting 64%. She's hitting
a lot of fast skiing is like, I don't know if she's not a big muscular person.
No.
And a lot of great skiers just have that, technique that they don't look like they're going fast.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But they are.
Gliding,
just super smooth and not wasting any energy on trying to stay in balance. And then you have the Dalas who can do that and then sprint up a hill like it's downhill almost. But I don't know. Because I've always thought, well, if you want to keep your speed, you're spending more energy. But I think the whole key to going fast in cross-country skiing is to spend as little energy.
Yeah. And you, right, so Lampic and like Dala you mentioned, and just watch them moving, and it doesn't make sense, right? It's like they're moving faster than seems possible with the amount of effort that you're seeing in front of you. There are some people that they look like they're just like Benny Dole. We've joked about, right? Like it's all effort.
Yeah, no, it's.
But these guys, like it's like, how are, like, you mentioned him going up he's going up the slope as fast as it would seem like you would go down it, and it's like, how are you moving up that? It just physically seems like it's not possible.
And it was what impressed me so much that it just kept going. Like it was a long stretch.
Yeah.
You see people do a burst for 10 meters before the top of the hill, they burst. And then, no, he was just, wow. I'm going to rewatch that.
That'll be
1 or 2 tomorrow. Minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
When you're like, oh, he's still 30 seconds behind. And then the look on QFM's face where he's like, I knew it was coming, but this was,
yeah.
And it's not like QFM was cruising.
QFM was moving.
Like he was still, like even before when he was still quite ahead, like it didn't seem to me like he was like, oh, I got this in the bag and gonna just take it easy.
Do you know, by the way,
he was working hard on the uphills and stuff. Sorry.
Do you know where QFM currently ranks in skiing this season? Did you look it up?
No, I did not.
So do you have a guess?
Top 20?
He's 12th.
12th, yeah.
Yeah.
I think his shooting has been super inconsistent.
It has, but Dala moved past him like he was standing still. That's just
Although crazy. That could also be skis.
Could be. Yeah, for sure.
You saw it especially on the gliding section. But then if you come
French
bursting up
great.
a hill,
you
already have such a speed difference.
Yeah.
And then when you go into the downhill, that you take that with you.
Yeah.
But the women is also, because it's different time, right? So it could be that you hit
learned from the first race.
Mark. Yeah, or just a warmer temperature or more sun or
last thing before we go, can anybody win the overall from JT Boe, or is it over?
Well, with all the sickness, you never know. But assuming that's
health.
not going to play a role, like you were tempted to think the way Dala's been coming up the last couple of races, But then Boe's still been so strong, so no, I don't see it happen.
Yeah, so it was sort of that's exactly what I wanted to the response I wanted, because Boe actually increased his lead this weekend from 78 points to 92 points. So it's like,
and it feels like he's had a really bad season.
It does. he could
you look
sit
at that,
out, Dala could win, and he'd still be in the lead. So that's pretty good lead. And again, it also feels like his skiing is getting stronger. So I just think that he's going to get to Oslo. He's going to win at least one of those races, and then we're going to be like, did we ever really doubt this?
I just don't see it happen.
No, I agree.
One thing I really liked, and I'm just quickly scrolling through the other events, is that the women were second.
Yeah.
I would say typically the men are second, but going back through...
No, I think you're right.
No, I think they mix it up actually, because
do they?
Was this Oberhof was the men first and the women, Hochfilzen men first, women. So I think they mix it per event.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's literally like event 1 men women, event 2 women men, etc. Either way, I like that. That it's not
Any
automatically
particular reason
men.
why? Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of sports where like the women are sort of the warm up for the real final.
Yeah.
You know, when the men are gonna.
Yes, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
And especially, I don't know. There are certain sports where I think the men's side has developed more, whether that's justified or not, but it just seems still to be the case. Mm-hmm. And then there's other sports. I'm really enjoying women's soccer nowadays, but I just feel that here I feel no difference between men and women. And especially with how close the women have been, I think it's justified that they are sort of the highlight of the day.
Not only do I find there to be no difference, I actually find the women's races more exciting. Not that the men's races aren't exciting. I just think that there's a deeper field of women who can potentially win or challenge for a podium or top 5. And so I come into every race with more excitement.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm just, I guess, one of those naive dreamers that just wishes that your gender should just not matter.
I think
it's just.
If you can't,
I'm not saying they should all be in the same, because I mean, obviously, men typically have a physical advantage over women, but there should not be an automatic assumption that the highlight is the men's race.
Yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I'm going into way too long, but.
No, I'm glad you mentioned it. I really enjoy. So I really enjoy watching women's tennis. I think I enjoy it more than men's tennis. I enjoy. I think the women's golf is actually a lot of fun too. But I think you're right. I think that oftentimes, like you said, it's sort of like the warm up, or it's sort of like the thing to watch when the men aren't competing. And so I appreciate that that the IBU does make an effort to promote them both equally. I do think that they deserve some applause for that. So,
absolutely.
Yeah, no, I'm very happy to be a fan of this sport and to see them doing that.
Mm-hmm. Crowd was amazing as usual.
Oh yes. Oh, and speaking of crowds, you know where we're going next. I mean, so we're going to Nova Mesta, who's got the
I think they like Biathlon, right?
Crazy stadium there. Yeah, I think I'm very excited to see that. Plus the timing of the race, I think there are going to be a lot of evening races, so sunset races that could make for some fun, pretty excited crowds.
Not 4:30 in the morning races.
No, I think they're like 10:30 Eastern time races. Like there's some 10 o'clock Eastern time. It's pretty wild.
That'd be nice.
I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah.
It's actually going to be hard because some of them are. It's actually there's a sweet spot where it's like after it gets to a certain point, like
before
you start getting into other things. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. 6:30. Can't do better than that. That's perfect.
Yeah. 4:30, a little early.
Yeah, for you. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyway,
all right. I'm sure nobody listened to the last 10 minutes, and I don't blame them because we went off on some tangents. But yeah. All right, man.
So I have a question.
Oh, boy.
Maybe you can cut this out later. But so as most people know, probably, I grew up in Holland, and a lot of sports there are club-based, not the North American system where it's tied to schools and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was surprised, for example, when I said I played field hockey a lot in Holland, and it's like looking for a team. And they're like, oh, well, that's only women who play that. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's like, well, there's some colleges and stuff where there's also a men's league, but after that, there's, just not enough. And I'm sure there are some people that play field hockey in Canada or men, but it's just there's not really a league or anything like that. And it made me like we're in the playoffs for the American football. Is American football ever played by girls, women?
There are a handful of instances where they are like the kicker, but never. I mean, there's.
And I'm not talking about that league.
No. There are a couple of instances of like kickers playing on high school or college teams, but that's about it.
Yeah, I find that.
No,
that I find that weird.
I've got a question for you.
And there's no baseball, I think, for women. Like pretty much women.
There's softball.
Always play fast pitch or
fast pitch softball. Yeah, but question for you, biathlon related actually. JT Boe now 5 wins behind Fourcade. Does he match him this season? Yeah.
World Cup wins or total wins?
Total wins.
Yeah, I think he'll match or pass.
Yeah, between the World Championships and
Is that's just non-team or
just non-team? Yeah.
Yep. Nah, I think he's still.
So he's 5 behind Fourcade, and he is 17 back of Bjorn Dahlen.
Wow. I don't think he'll do that this season, but
no, but 2 years.
Good.
17. So if he gets, say, 5 more this year, then he'd beat 12 back. 6 and 6. Anyway, it feels like he can do it. Yeah. We'll see.
If he keeps going as long as Bjorn Dahlen, then he'll definitely get it.
Yeah, then he'll be 112.
Yeah.
Yeah, and these poor guys on the IBU Cup are like, just retire already.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding, eh?
Yeah, they'll run their whole careers waiting for an opening.
Yeah. They retire before JT Boe is... we promise when he's not in the top 30, we'll drop him into the IBU Cup.
Yeah, you and I will be on the many seasons down the road.
Yeah.
Well, as you know, JT Boe is once again, in the mix for another overall. All right. Well, that's a good place to end it.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
have a good one, man. Have a good
absolutely.
Week.
And
thanks for listening, everyone.
We might be
if
back.
You're still there.
We might be back with another episode before the Worlds, or maybe we'll just talk to you sometime during Worlds. So.
Maybe we see if we can do that tour that we've been talking about to ask about biathlon around the world. And
let's do it. We'll just start popping
fly
around
to different places. Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Okay. Take care, man.
Take care.